And here now to parse the opposing claims are TJ Zane, president of the Lincoln Club of San Diego County, a major backer of the initiative, and Michael Zucchet, general manager of the city's largest organized labor group, bargaining units they're called, the Municipal Employees Association. Thanks for joining us, gentlemen.
Thank you.
And TJ, you were the proponent in this. What's the problem here?
Well, we see a problem with the retirement system. The solution is the Comprehensive Pension Reform Initiative. It includes well, I see you frowning, but
no. I'm seeing him with a bemused smile. So,
the Comprehensive Pension Reform Initiative will move all new employees to a 401k style retirement plan. It imposes that employees pay a fair and equal portion of their retirement plan. It has online disclosure of how much the city is paying in pension payments.
Cap on pensionable pay, seeking pay freezes.
It puts an end to pension spiking, and it does have a 5-year cap on pensionable pay. That's correct.
Michael, you're troubled by this.
Well, yeah, it addresses a problem that exists with our pension fund in general, but it doesn't solve the critical issues that we can all agree on, like the outrageous pensions that we all read about in the paper, these multi-$100,000 pensions of managers in the city, and everything that Mr. Zane just talked about could have been done with those employees 5 years ago, freezing their pensionable pay, ending pensions for those employees. Those are non-union management
employees.
Those are mayoral employees. And so what's disconcerting about this whole debate is the CPR proponents use those people as examples as what's wrong with the pension system. The CPR does nothing about that, and in fact, Mayor Sanders or anybody else can do something about that today with the stroke of his pen. It has nothing to do with government unions. Our employees, and we're the largest union, make an average of $55,000 a year, and after working for the city for 3 decades, they earn $32,000 on average of a pension after working for the city for 30 years with no Social Security, and that's a pension that they help pay for. That's a typical city employee, not the people that are put up as some sort of example of the $1 Million Club.
Would you like to address that?
Sure. I think everybody would be happy to address the outrageous pension benefits that employees receive across the board. The Comprehensive Pension Reform Initiative deals with employees whose pension benefits are vested. And you're absolutely right. There's no reason why the City Council and the Mayor can't at any time come together and change those pension benefits for management employees. But I think to say that $55,000 a year, as an example, as a pension payment, is not reflective of the overall problem within the system. I mean, when you have a retired city librarian who made $139,000 a year during her employ, making much more than that per year in retirement, and they want to talk averages, what's the average city employee get? But when you talk averages, you include the city employee who spent a year in the system and gets, can cash out $1,000, and that gets included in the average. So there aren't many like that. Let's talk about the average retirement benefit for the lifetime San Diego city employee.
You want to pick up on that?
Well, just to be, I'm not sure what you're talking about with a year in, but there's a vesting period of more than a decade. The average, but let's talk about the outliers of typical city employee. Our highest paid employee might make $70,000 or $80,000 and might have a $50,000 pension after 30 years. The outliers that are being used, the city librarian, who was the former city library director, an at-will employee of the mayor, not represented by a union, you can address those issues and should address those issues in some way other than targeting all the rest of the employees. At the end of the day, and you brought this up in your opening, what are the cost savings of this? When TJ and his friends went to citizens and said, sign my petition, they represented that this would save billions of dollars. This is not going to save billions of dollars. In fact, it's going to cost us money in the short run. And when the independent budget analyst puts out her independent fiscal analysis in the coming weeks, that'll be borne out, and it'll be clear that essentially a bait and switch was pulled with citizens, encouraging them to sign these petitions, clamp down on these pensions, save billions. That was a lie, and that'll be demonstrated as a lie, unless you'd like to stand behind the numbers that you represented to the citizens back in April when you said it would be billions of dollars. Is this going to save billions of dollars?
Counterpoint, Mr. Zane.
Let's talk about the first bait and switch was when the unions tried to block the collection process and threatened citizens that their identity would be stolen if they signed the petition. The fact of the matter remains that there is savings to this initiative. The cost of you let off, your lead off is great. The deficit, 2.1 unfunded liability with the pension system. We are going to, the initiative will move new employees to a 401k style plan. It will redefine what's considered pensionable pay. It will reduce the pension liability within the system. There will be accelerated payments to close the current system to new entrants over the first 5 years, but the cost is the same. The cost to the city is what it is for the unfunded liability. We are simply, in a simple terms, accelerating payments on the credit card, paying it down, and saving on interest payments over the successive years.
You kicked it off. You get the last word.
Well, city employees have been part of the solution to San Diego's fiscal crisis over the last 5 years. City employees essentially haven't had a pay increase in 7 years. They've had several pay cutbacks. We helped save the city $700 million in retiree health savings. We've been at the table working in cooperation with the city. It's part of the reason, and Mayor Sanders acknowledged this, why we've solved our structural budget deficit together. To bring this hyper-political ballot initiative to voters, stirring up the frenzy of pension reform to help certain mayoral candidates is a mistake. It's bad for voters, and I think when the numbers come out, they'll realize this is more politics than substance.
To be continued. Got it.
Say one thing to Mike's credit and to the mayor's credit, they have done quite a bit to help address the problem. But I'm sure they can do a lot of things through the meet and confer process. There's probably some really good coffee and donuts at that meet and confer process. But I put a lot more faith in the voters of San Diego to solve the pension problem than in the city council and the government unions.
We're going to leave it right there. To be continued and straight ahead on Politically Speaking.